we were just talking, and this weekend we had our spouses and like friends come to help us and our team, right? And it was so much fun, like putting everything together. And I'm just so used to, and I think you are too,
Hmm.
to being like, oh, I got it. I'll do that. I
I
can
don't need
pick
you don't
that
need to
up.
get up and come help me
Yeah.
because I'll figure it out. I'll
So
break my back and it'll be fine.
yeah, I'll just be hurting the next day, but I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so first, I'm proud of us for asking for
Yes.
help.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
ask
High
for help,
five.
people. Ask for help.
Yeah.
I did not. Again, that was one of the things my therapist. She was like, "Do you get upset or bothered
Mm-hmm.
because let's say certain things maybe aren't getting done in the
Yeah.
house? Like, are you communicating
Well,
that you want these,
these
that you need
things.
help,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like, oh, you didn't unload the dishwasher, or let's say, right? But also, then I'm like,
But
I'll
I
do
got
it
it.
though.
Don't bother. I don't want to bother you. I
don't
don't
bother,
want to bother you. You
don't
don't know
bother
how
me
to
like
do it.
that.
I do it better.
Welcome to the Delulu Magic podcast, where we delulu our mindset and live the most magical version of our lives. I'm Paola.
And I'm Gabby. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to Lulu Crew. Paola and I have been best friends for 3 decades. Just want to tell everybody knew that. And we're here having another little sit down of conversations about everything in life. So I don't think we're going to really base it on one specific path. And
Today's just as exciting that we have in 2 days our first Delulu Magic event.
oh my gosh, it's so exciting.
It-
So that came, I want you to tell that part because this is part of the vision why we created Delulu.
oh, yeah, definitely. And it's kind of crazy because what we're in April, and we back in at the beginning of December, this wasn't even a thing that we had even talked about, like
Mm-hmm.
doing. Obviously, it was something, and I think in the back of my head, we'd kind of talked a little bit about, oh, one day we'll have a podcast, but never actually sitting down and saying, hey, let's like actually do this thing together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we were so busy with everything else, parenting, other businesses, just midlife, trying to navigate that, perimenopause, kinds of stuff that I didn't even know, exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
But there was a point that for me, I felt like I had, just worked really hard throughout my life and achieved certain goals. I think that we all do, right? We set these goals and then you hit that goal and it didn't quite feel the way you thought it was going to feel. Like I didn't get this fulfillment out of it or like this joy that I thought I was going to get, right?
This is it.
Yeah, like I'm like I made it, right?
Yeah.
And after a while, I don't and then a bunch of other things happened and it was almost like either midlife crisis, burnout, just overwhelm,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different emotions. And there became a point that it was actually really hard to get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like
Yeah.
100% honest and I've never been that person. Again, I was like the overly positive person. So much so that and I don't that I remember when I was much younger and just more of that person that my mom, let's say, when she was going through
Mm-hmm.
stuff or after, like when she kind of would tell me, oh, like I felt depressed. And I'm like, why can't people just change the way you feel? Like, just, it's, like you're
Yeah.
young, you're like 17, you're just like, just change the way you feel.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
right. All right, have more friends and
Mm-hmm.
do more things. But when you're going through it, right. And obviously that was just like a statement of just, I wasn't aware, just, I would say,
Yeah.
right. Also wasn't just thoughtful, I think, at
Mm-hmm.
that age. Um, and I felt it. I was like, oh my God, now I get it. And what am I going to
Yeah.
do? And I was like in this cycle of just letting those ruminating thoughts like kind of take over.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I was just like, I have to make a decision. Like, so I started reading Joe Dispenza, all these different things. And I was like, I'm going to delulu like my mind. I'm going to listen to
Yeah.
Neville. And I just like went in and really started learning a lot of these different techniques. And so one of the things was I decided like for Mother's Day, I was like, oh, okay, me, my brother, my sister-in-law, my mom, we're gonna go. Like, hey, let's go to Fredericksburg. It was like a
Mm-hmm.
great trip. I was like, but the whole time, guys, we're talking Delulu. That means I want to talk about the reality that we actually want, not the reality that we're living in, but I want to live in the frequency of what we want to attract.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so the
Yeah.
whole time that was the whole thing. And I, even like, and it was a lot of fun. And it felt really good. Like I felt just like in alignment. It felt like just great to be thinking about what I wanted instead of all these other
Yeah.
negative, like ruminating
Yes.
thoughts that honestly weren't even real. Like all
Mhm.
those things hadn't even happened. It was like I thought of 1,000
Scenario.
options of like, yeah, that were
Yeah.
negative, but that was like all my mind trying to protect me, but really, again,
Mhm.
lying to me. None of that was actually reality.
Yeah.
Nothing had happened. So the next day, I led like a little, according to me, yoga session. I'm like trying to like implement everything. And it was just such a magical weekend. And I think that's where it sparked about like having these Delulu camps. And I think I came back and I
Yeah.
mentioned it to you
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
talked and we implemented it, but with each other.
Mhm.
And that was kind of like the very first time, the spark of, I guess, the first Delulu Magic event.
Yeah.
And now seeing this come to fruition is just so special that I get to do it with you
Mhm.
and that I get to do it with a community of like women that is, we're all kind of in different phases of our life,
We
right?
are.
Sometimes people are going
Yeah.
through things, maybe they're not, but you still want to accomplish certain goals. So I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
Oh, it is. I think it's just, yeah, it's been a lot. It definitely fun is the word. And I wanted fun. I wanted a lot more fun. Fun is like what we have,
Yeah.
with our team, every single person
So
that is a
lucky.
part of it. When we were setting up today, I just was sitting for a while. We got yoga mats everywhere in the studio and realizing, what a gift, what a blessing we have created. We're creating,
Mm-hmm.
and the more people, the better. And so this is something that we want to share. And the concept of what we created was the podcast to begin with, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
you said before, it was like we started talking. We're really figuring out as we go, guys. Like there's just no rhyme or reason to who we are. So that just accept that. I have
ADHD,
accepted
like
that as
a little
part
bit
of
of everything.
what we are. We have never done this. We have been in many other roles, but we've never done this. Now we're just trying to figure out what the best way to be ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and then the best people to be in a team, and keep on with our vision
Yeah.
of what this is. And I remember you specifically talking, and right now as you're speaking about it, I was like, oh my god, it's going to be May. That's what's a year ago, May. Like, you know that what we've been able to create and go and do, it's still, mind blowing most days.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I just want to be super grateful for that, and sit in my softness and accept that, hey, we were doing something really good that we want to share with many.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously for ourselves, it's part of our growth.
Yeah.
It's just good. It feels good. Shoulders don't feel tense.
And as
Doesn't
women,
feel.
we carry so much, and like what you
Yeah.
said, softness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As we were just talking, and this weekend we had our spouses and like friends come to help us and our team, right? And it was so much fun, like putting everything together. And I'm just so used to, and I think you are too,
Hmm.
to being like, oh, I got it. I'll do that. I
I
can
don't need,
pick
you don't
that
need
up.
to get up and come help me,
Yeah.
because I'll figure it out. I'll
So
break my back and it'll be fine.
yeah, I'll just be hurting the next day, but I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so first, I'm proud of us for asking for
Yes.
help.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
ask
High
for help,
five.
people. Ask for help.
Yeah.
I did not. Again, that was one of the things my therapist. She was like, "Do you get upset or bothered
Hmm.
because let's say certain things maybe aren't getting done in the
Yeah.
house? Like, are you communicating
Well,
that you want these,
these
that you need
things.
help,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like, oh, you didn't unload the dishwasher, or let's say, right? But also, then I'm like,
But
I'll
I
do
got
it though.
don't bother. I don't want to bother you.
Or
I don't
load
want to bother you. You
don't
don't
load
know
it
how to
like
do it.
that.
Yeah, that I do it better. Oh God, I do it. That's awful. Yeah, learning this learning how to be soft, which is right, like
Yeah.
the feminine energy, that you've learned a lot more about that, right? And it's not how everybody thinks of just like a girl, whatever. It's just
Mhm.
like the softness of like receiving and being okay with being helped and being
Yes.
taken care of. And I think of that often. Like I talk a lot of shit. I tell my husband, and then I'm like, no, but you didn't do it like right, and I'm gonna do it, and then I don't allow him.
Mhm.
I think I took decades to allow him to help me. Like I've had a lot of health things and surgeries and stuff like that, and I would be damned if he was going to help me, because I could do it, and then I would be crying because I hurt myself, whatever. And
Like,
he's like, how, if you don't let me, I wouldn't let him, I wouldn't let myself be soft and not needing anybody. And actually I read something too last night, and I think about it, and it says about, was it Danny Morell? He talks
mm,
about the little girl, how the mom teaches you you don't need anybody, you've
Mhm.
got this, all that. And all it's done is
Hardened
basically
us.
tell you that, just you. And then so you can't even begin to comprehend how it is to let others do for you, right?
Yeah. Be
So,
strong.
well,
Yeah,
no,
like
be strong and
I
you
don't want
better
to be
better you
strong.
can do it. Like why do you mean you can't do it?
Yeah.
If you're supposed to be capable. And I laugh too now because I talked to a friend yesterday. She was weird. I said, "Who lied to us?" And she goes, "Yeah, this was bullshit. We were our generation. It was like you're gonna be able to do it, and you're gonna be able to do it all, and you got it. And
Mhm.
don't ask for help because that's a sign of weakness."
Yeah.
And that for me has been so hard to process. Because yes, even Sunday was, even there was moments when I got up that I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to remind him to come with me." But I think I got it. It should be fine. But then I was like, no. I mean, really? You just felt like a few weeks ago because you're insistent you got it.
Yeah.
And just leaning into that. And I think this event is really going to be good for us as well. I mean, it is very small and intentional who's coming to be with us, but everybody that is going to be a part of it, I think, has these moments too of realizing, hey, it is okay to ask for help. It is okay to, choose yourself. It is okay to take care of yourself, to take some time to implement things because you're able to like withstand most of life. That actually makes you stronger if you're able to be softer.
Mhm.
Now I'm seeing that. Where before I was like, I'm not going to use the word, but weakling. Like,
We-
how can you not? How
How
can you
can
not?
you not handle all that?
What do you mean? That is not hard. Of course, everything's hard if you are just you on your own, like one human.
And
Even
just
men
we
or
need
what, but it's like
community
us.
too, like just
Yeah,
other women. I think so much. That was another reason I think
yeah.
we did this one because it's scary, vulnerable, all of that.
Yes.
But I feel like so many women are going through this in silence and not talking about what their experiences
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
feel like we have to be strong and we
Yes.
can't be vulnerable and we can't show people that, oh, I can't carry it all. And then we
Mhm.
break down and you are crying in the closet, crying in the car, like in
Mhm.
private. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Right. And I wish I would have learned this in my 20s,
Of
right? Or
course.
at least in
To
my
have it,
30s.
to have it like process all the emotions, whatever, and it's okay. And you can actually you can ask for help, and you can be okay with people taking care of you and receiving, right? Because
Yeah.
even like it's a hard thing. So I'm a giver. Like I love to give, but I and we've had this conversation, but I struggle even with a compliment
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, what? It's okay. You don't need to tell me anything. Why? Why can't I actually be like, okay, thank you. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm still trying to be this. I don't even need
I don't
words.
even need your compliment.
No,
I know. No.
not even. I don't know, but I'm just saying that's
No.
how bad it is. And
Yeah.
um, just really
Yeah. We like
opening
downplay.
up
We
to
like shrink, I
I
think.
shrink myself and I want to just I don't want it to be I want the spotlight and the irony of irony. Here I am sitting in front of cameras and talking so much about it, but I just now exposing myself in this way has been
Hmm.
really good, almost like cold exposure because I'm like, it's okay. I am more willing to be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't need to control ever since the damn control was I don't need to control everything. I don't have everything. I can be, um soft again. Just I can be calmer
Hmm.
and be okay with, somebody making my water bottle. I don't have to do it. Oh my gosh, but I see it in my kids right now and I'm like, damn you, this is all I taught you. They're like, I got it. I don't need you to help me. And I'm like, I want to take care of you. And they're like, I don't need you to. And that's me.
Yeah.
I have done it their whole lives. Like Mark has been, my husband has tried to be that way. And I would be like, I don't need you to do it. And with an attitude, why?
I'll take it now. I'll be like, please do it for me.
Please do.
Please. Yes, I am in
Please,
my.
now I'm like, please, please, just hand me the water. That's it. Now I do ask. I'm so much better. He can say I am so much better. Like I'm like, please, things I could do myself, but I'm like, you know what? I can ask for. I could say,
Hmm.
hey, can you do this for me? Can you get this for me? Um,
Yeah.
I
Like
just
I'm
don't. I
tired today
don't
because
feel
then
like
we're sitting there
I don't
doing
feel
it and
like a
like
burden.
you might be doing it in a bad mood, like, and
Usually it is about me because it's like I do all the things
and
and
that's
nobody realizes it and nobody's grateful for me. It's a whole cycle. Because it's not all like without intention. That is
Mhm.
the intention behind it that I'm like, really, I have to do everything,
Yeah.
you know. And none of you noticed it. And nobody notices that I'm going to break down or fall apart. Oh, that's another one.
But then, but because you're, yeah,
Because I
telling
didn't
yourself
say
you helped.
anything, like you said, because I didn't voice what was needed. So,
I just see it as, yeah, such a
yeah.
common thing. And I think the sooner that women and probably men too, I'm sure they have like,
Yeah.
their control, like, oh, I've got it. Or let's say they, do the finances. It's like, I think it should be a team effort and like having more
I
communication
don't
as far
think
as like just
so.
like,
Most men are
do you
very
need help?
comfortable being
Yes,
taken care of.
they are though.
But that's because we were like, I'm gonna do it like this way, and we're just gonna
It's just weird because it's like,
control.
I feel like, well, at least for me, and maybe I don't
Yeah.
know if this is just common across everything, but the role that I saw, like my mother playing, and I don't know if again because we were Hispanic, was you serve
Mm-hmm.
the man. Yeah, I'm gonna cook, and I'm gonna like
Yeah.
take it to you. And do you need anything? No, no, I
Yeah.
I got it. And it was again we don't act the way our parents tell us, right? Like saying, oh,
That's what
like
we
you
saw.
can, yeah, you
No.
can be soft, but it's
No.
the way we see our parents act or
Yeah.
our mothers
Yeah.
act. And I did the exact same thing. And it's so funny because I feel like a lot of women, when you're in your 20s, you're like criticizing, well, I would never do that. And then all of a sudden you see yourself in a relationship and you're like,
20 years
oh
later.
my God, I'm doing the same stuff that I'd be like, why are you doing all that?
Right? You don't have to do that. You know, you don't have to do that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, learning, continuing our education of, correcting the things that cause
We're a
us to
work in
feel this.
progress. I
Yeah.
think everybody, wherever, again, and I know I say this all the time, so it's probably like a broken record, but wherever you are in your journey, just figuring out what you can learn from that and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
getting 1% better, just 1% better every day, being like, oh, I acknowledge, I see that. I'm reflecting on some of the things that maybe were the childhood wounds or things that I'm doing. And now I accept that, but how
Mm-hmm.
can I also grow and like kind of
Start to,
change?
shift from away from that. So doing our event has shown us a lot more things that we thought was just setting up. Obviously things that we
Yeah.
figured we had dealt with, and that really no, we're kind of continuous showing up. Yeah, you
It,
know how to do this.
it's a journey, yeah, and so grateful. I think now I'm so like you said, for
Yeah.
our team.
Yeah.
It's so amazing to have like an environment where you can work with people that you love, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we've been really intentional about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just about getting intentional in life, like really sitting down and writing. And it takes time, but again, I know you can be Netflixing, but like it takes time. But just to say, hey, this is what I want in my relationships with my husband, with my children, and my career or even side gig, because sometimes you're not, maybe your passion, you have your own career, maybe that's not your passion, but doing something on the side that's a little bit fulfilling and like that brings you joy.
Well,
But
yeah.
really getting that clarity
Mm-hmm.
is
And you
so
have to
important.
actually sit with it, like almost like an audit, like what I told you. Like have to look at all the areas in your life and where they're at, and that kind of will give you, a little roadmap of, hey, these areas, what can I start to do here and there. And
Hmm.
I think for us going into doing this adventure together has shown us a whole lot of things we didn't realize,
Yeah,
we were going to be doing. And
I thought I had already grown so much
no,
over
girl,
the last
you're not
couple
getting
years
a
of
cap and gown.
therapy
You're not.
and yeah, therapy and like just rewiring and yeah,
Reading, listening, watching. Yeah.
our souls are continuously, like I think, expanding and growing.
Yeah.
So
But I definitely feel uh, there's a little bit more calmness, right? Like
mhm.
for me, I feel a lot of calmness every day. And, there's just, um, I'm not in the hectic. I mean, I've got reality, my call reality, my stuff I do for work, but that's where I get a lot of stress. But I'm able to kind of, I'm okay, I'm done with that. But
Mhm.
I've got other things here, and gives me that peace, that inner calm
Mhm.
and excitement,
Yeah.
and I'm able to really think and tune into that and stay away from the automatic negative thoughts, which would be before. Like, I'm so overwhelmed. I've got so much to do. I don't know if I'm going to do this now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh no, now I'm balancing out my time.
Changing your work.
But it took like actually doing action, like what you talk about always, right? Like, yes, I have to do, like, my mind has been, between, meditating and
Mhm.
reading, listening to podcasts, applying all of that, and it is continuous, like learning, like courses I'm doing, things that I would have never had you told me I would be this person. And I love who I am.
Yeah.
I love this part about me, and that's just pretty good to
I know it
it's a
is
pretty
really
good
cool to
place to
see.
be in
It's
and
really
to
cool to
feel,
see.
just. And so we're gonna have the best time, Delulu crew, and we're gonna definitely have a lot of footage. I'm so excited. We have
Mhm.
amazing people coming. We can't wait to share all of that with you guys.
Yeah, so sound bowl meditation
Yes,
thing going on, a little bit of yoga, a little
a
bit of
little bit
everything.
of
So
everything that we find has helped us, right?
yes.
Like a lot of a community, And as we continue doing those, we're gonna try to have them quarterly,
Mm.
and then probably put them out to the public. So that will definitely be fun.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe.
And don't forget, nothing changes unless you do.
So stay Delulu and make it happen. Have a good one, Delulu crew.